All right, good morning, everybody. I'm Chloe, and this is Rise and Write, a little offshoot of our Friday afternoon word stitch program. Thanks for being here today. I hope everybody's gotten their coffee or whatever their caffeine is. I'm a little behind on that caffeine, but I'll catch up eventually. Um, I am joined today by Chonk. His real name is Abba Zaba. I don't think he has any concept of what his real name is, even as far as like cats go. And you want to say that cats don't know their names? I'm pretty sure he's just knows his name is Chonk. Yeah. So have some coffee. So today I'm gonna. Thanks, Chonk. This will also be part of the show today. Undoubtedly, he'll clean himself at least 10 times throughout the show, and that's okay. He's a cat. Today I am working on the final installment of my Candy for Demons series. This is the fourth book in it. This is a Valentine Demon for Verity. It is my big struggle bus of a book. As I'm assuming it's not weird that the last book in all of my series is the worst one to write. You gotta make it better somehow than the other books, and usually you don't. And usually, I don't know how many times I've said of other authors, well, this whole series was great, but that last book, eh. So I'm assuming that Verity is going to be a meh as well, and that's okay. But it's a mess. Good morning, Elizabeth. Thanks for joining for these couple of minutes. I am going to have a sprint in a couple of minutes here, so you'll be able to get a little bit of work in with me if you'd like. But thanks for joining for what little time you've got. Let me know what you're working on. So this one, I got like really stuck on the plot and everything, and I finally have gotten it together, and I'm moving along, and it's a romance, and I'm missing the romantic element, but I will figure it out. That's just kind of how it goes sometimes. Yeah, so we'll see. I'm having this weird issue that like there's this whole great big plot to this story, way more um way more levels to it and way more steps to it than the other books in this series. So the first two books in this series was they were both about 60,000, and then the last book that I put out, which arguably had like the least amount of plot to it, I thought was actually 75,000. And this one that I feel like has this whole great, it's like a Wizard of Oz style plot. They're going to different places to figure out how to save things, and I felt like every single place was going to be a great big production. And there's all these things that they're learning. One of them is new to what she is, and she's trying to figure out how to do it. So I expected this plot to, like, I was really worried. The last one again was 75,000. I was really worried that this one was going to be 90,000, and now I'm basically at the Cowardly Lion stage of it, and I'm only at 30,000. So now I actually have to figure out how to make this damn book longer, because I don't know. I don't know what I did wrong. I guess that extra words that I need will be that romantic plot. So yeah, so let's go ahead and do our first sprint. I'm gonna start us with a 10 because I am still waking up and I am still drinking my coffee. So I'm just gonna do a little sprint to figure out where I'm going with this story, even because I know last night I left it off at a weird spot. So yeah, we're gonna do, oh, I hate that window. There we go. We're going to do this next one for 10. It's 5 after, so we're just going to go to 15 after. Let's see. Go ahead and start now. All right, we're back. And Elizabeth, you look like you've got a pretty busy day ahead of you if you're editing one book and drafting another. So good luck with that. And good morning, Paget Farmer. I did end up getting a good amount of writing there. I got 268, finished a scene. That's always good. Paget, what are you working on today? Let's see what everybody's doing. Oh, 388. That's really good, Elizabeth. Well done. I used to be able to do these really huge numbers on the short sprints, and I just don't have it in me anymore. But I'm really happy with the 260 that I got, because I was trying to get some coffee going through my system, and it's taking its sweet time today. Gosh, I had plans for what I was going to talk about today, and they are completely out of my brain right now. So my little ramble for this morning, I'm working on the last book of this series. There are 2 more books that are going to happen, but they're both novellas. One is going to be after this, and one is going to be a starter. This series, it does okay. I'm certainly not like making livable money off of it, but I do get a good amount of sales, and it seems to, I don't have any bad reviews on it. I don't have a lot of reviews, but I don't have any bad reviews. I've got a good read-through rate, which is how likely somebody is to pick up the second book after the first book. It's a weird trying to figure that out, because obviously people are continuously buying it. So, you can't just look at the numbers and figure it out when you don't have a huge data set for it. But so it does fairly well. The problem with it is they all have holidays in their title. And the first book is A Christmas Demon for Clara. This isn't meant to be a book that you read at the holidays. Even though it does take place at Christmas, it's certainly not like that Christmas special that a lot of series have, where it'll be like a full series and there will be that like one random Christmas book. That's not the situation with this, but obviously it looks like that. I'm not, I don't always think things through, and I feel like my naming conventions and how I structured it around holidays was very clever, but it doesn't work from a marketing stance. So my first book is going to be like a summer special, but it's not going to have a holiday in it. And hopefully that will get people from being squeamish about buying it when it's not the Christmas season. The one that just came out is Halloween themed. And that one is kind of nice right now, because I can advertise that, but I can actually link it to the series page so people could see like, oh, this is Halloween, but this is the third book in the series, and hopefully they're making the right choice there. And Halloween's a pretty good, like, it's the second holiday that people are willing to read books about. The middle book of the series was a Easter book, so that doesn't nobody wants to buy a romance book at Easter. And then the last one, the one that I'm working on now, is Valentine's Day. So and yes, thank you, Paget. I agree. I don't care about seasonal either. I'm just excited for the book to be there. I feel like my concern more is that people are going to see it and again assume that it is that offshoot of something, and it definitely, it definitely sells way better at Christmas than the rest of the year. Funny story about your Easter egg hunts are very passionate. What are you talking about? That book is actually built somewhat around an Easter egg hunt. They are, this is paranormal romance, and they are in hell, and they are in a zone that has been like warped into this Easter nightmare. So they're trying to find pieces to a key, and the key is in fact Easter eggs. But also like there are bunnies around that are actually like carnivorous rats that like eat fingers, and there's some there's some doves that are actually vampire bats. Like there's a whole bunch of things that have been masked as other things. So it's a weird, yeah, it's a hell Easter egg. I personally love how the story turned out, but it was a weird concept to go by. I will say though, it is for somebody that struggles with this series. The series is called Candy for Demons. It's on Amazon and on Kindle Unlimited. The first book is A Christmas Demon for Clara. But I honestly, like, I started these because last Nano, I do NaNoWriMo every year. I am an ML. So I do it every year. And last year I was struggling with my Shifter series, which I still haven't finished. And Sandy, my co-host in the afternoon shows and sometimes this morning show, she said, well, you just need to be working on something else during Nano. You need to take a break from that project and do something else. And maybe do something that's more marketable. And I was like, all right, well, what are the top 3 things right now? And she said that they were in the, oh God, what is it called? Not the K-Lytics report. Is it the K-Lytics report? Yes, the K-Lytics report. She just got one. I was like, all right, well, what are the top ones of paranormal romance? What are the niche cells right now that I can get into? And she says, all right, well, it's gothic and holiday and angels and demons. Like, you can't do that. And I was like, yeah, I can. That's what I'm gonna do. And it's gonna be comedy. And she's like, this is a terrible idea. And I said, I'm doing it anyway. And I did it. And she loves the series, so it worked out. But yeah, so now I feel like also the fact that they're comedy, not really hard comedy, but like just the situational comedy. Because of that, this last book, they're in an apocalypse and things are really bad, and everybody's dying. They're killing a whole bunch of people. There's kind of like a zombie thing going on. And within all of that, yes, that is the second book. Absolutely. An Easter Demon for Eloise. So in this one, it's really hard to add the comedy. It's also really hard to add the romance because he is like this gross, disgusting demon and she's an angel. And I'm like, why did I ever write these characters like this? How do I make the romance out of this? It's been a rough one, but I'm getting through it. Paget, I don't know if you've told me or not, but what are you working on today? I've been like babbling about myself, which is kind of what you do. Oh, I see. You totally told me that you finished your rough draft the other day and you're editing it and you forgot a whole chapter. I've been there before. And I swear, like, when it's happened, I'm like, I feel like I wrote that. And I blame my writing app for eating it. The writing app didn't eat it. I like came up with a rough outline and never filled it in. So yeah, I've been there. Let's go ahead and do our next sprint. Let's see if we get some more people here. If not, it's okay. I can ramble forever. We're going to do 10-minute breaks today. Then we're going to do 15-minute sprints. And therefore, I don't get caught up too much in a ramble. Yeah, there you go. That one single chapter, it just ate it. It knew. It was like, oh, I know how to get her. Let me eat this chapter. Okay. So we are going to write for the next 15 minutes. And it is 25 after. So we're going to be going to, I don't know why math is so hard at 8:30 in the morning. We're going to go to 40 after, 20 F. So good luck at some writing in, finish that chapter. All right, we are back. Let me switch that screen. There we go. Looks like we had a couple new people join us. Thank you for joining us, Nicole. We're going to be doing a 10-minute break now, and then we're going to do another 15-minute sprint. We're going to do, I think, 2 more today, and we'll be wrapping up at half past the next hour. That'll be 9:30 Eastern time. I am just starting a new scene right now, but I did get, it looks like I got 379 on it, so I feel pretty good about that. I actually, so, and let me know how you guys did, so I have something else to ramble about other than myself. So as I'm sure everybody who watches my show knows by now, I quit my job. 2 Fridays ago now was my last day. And then I was house sitting for my parents in Florida last week. Just a dumb coincidence. I told my mom that I was quitting my job, and she said, "Hey, we're going to be gone for a week. Do you want to come take care of the cat?" Like, yes, I absolutely do. That is exactly what I need when I'm done working. So now I'm on kind of my first official week of either being unemployed or being a full-time writer, depending on how you want to look at it. So I was really hoping, though, while I was in Florida, that I would be able to like get going full steam ahead. And that just wasn't the case. So I had hoped to write like 40,000 words while I was there, and I wrote, I don't even think I hit 20,000. I am normally a fast writer. Don't think that I was expecting some miracle to happen for myself. I don't normally write 7,000 a day, but I can write 7,000 solid words a day if it comes down to it. So don't think I was going, that when I say I wanted to write 40,000 words in a week, that I was going from like normally I write 400. This was achievable. I did not achieve it. And I got back in town on Monday. So obviously that day was completely written off. Oh, we had a whole bunch of people just join us. Look at those numbers going up for me. It's only 5, but I love all 5 of you for joining me. Nicole wrote 126 words. I'm curious about why you are handwriting. I don't judge anybody for handwriting, but I'm always curious about why people are doing it, if they're having technical difficulties or if it's their method or whatever. So let me know in your comments. And Savannah wrote 257 words, starting an emotional scene. If you cry a whole bunch, it's okay. I cry when I write emotional scenes too, even if they're like just barely nudging it. And I'm like, oh no, I know how she feels, even though she's like killing all of these things right now. But like, oh, I know she bleeds on the inside. I'm going to cry for her. So I got back in town on Monday, wrote just a little bit on Monday. I had to write on Monday because that is when our afternoon show is. So I did do some writing on Monday, not much. But yesterday, I finally hit what I'm aiming for, which is 5,000 a day. I'm certainly not planning on, really sticking to my guns for that. I'm not going to break myself doing it. I'm not going to force myself to write when the words aren't there, because that, I don't know if that works for anyone. I'm sure that there are some trad pub people who are just like so have such tight deadlines that they kind of put themselves in that situation. I'm not that. Paget, this is nuts. There were 8 scheduled launches total, and every single one of them was scrubbed while I was there. It was 3 different rockets, but they would scrub it and then reschedule it for later in the week. I never saw a single flippin' rocket launch, and about half the time when I go down for 3 days, I see one. So that was really irritating, and it made me sad. And some of them were absolutely gross weather, and I understand, but a few of them were, I don't know, this sensors being funny. And obviously when you're sending things into space, I don't want you to be sending up with bad sensors, but it's still irritating. Like, there's nothing wrong. It's beautiful outside. Send it now. And one of them, they literally did the entire countdown. In case you didn't know this, because I didn't know this, apparently when you say one and launch on the countdown, that's not actually like magic button time. So they did their 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I switched over to my camera so I could film it. I was like watching it on Twitter or whatever, because these things do get canceled the last second. I was like, okay, they said one. So obviously this rocket is going to be launched right this second. And in fact, it was not. And that one was really irritating because it's a night launch. And the thing about night launches is that I'm literally filming off of my camera phone. They look terrible. But with a night launch, it looks like a reverse shooting star. Really bright, of course, like brighter than what you would get for a shooting star. But it looks like a really bright, like you've put a shooting star or like something terrible crashing to Earth, of course. It looks like that, but going in reverse. So it's funny and interesting. And yeah, so that's it. Okay, so that was my rocket launch story. Oh, Nicole, you handwrote 126 words in 8 minutes. In fact, that is fantastic. Yeah, I know that feeling, the hype over a new story. That's how I am with just with new scenes. Like this scene that I'm writing now, I just started it in that last sprint, and of course I had like all kinds of rambling that I could throw out immediately, and then my next sprint is going to be the nuts and bolts of it, and like actually having to progress the plot instead of just being shiny new scene. Look at where I am. It's pretty or really ugly because they're in hell, but either way, it was fascinating to look at. And then I'll be slowed down in the next one. Just scrolling through the scenes. So, Nicole, you said that you are taking a break from your current whiffs to do this new story. Is this like a little short story that you're working on, or is this a whole new project that you're just adding onto your new projects? No judgment there, because I've definitely had moments where I've got like 7 projects going on at the same time, and I kind of hate every single one of them. So I'm just like working on whatever. You know what's funny with StreamYard is everybody complains about the jumping that happens with it, but I'm normally not the one controlling things. Sandy normally does that. And now I see why everybody's complaining, because like I had an issue finding that just so I could take that off the screen. Oh, so Paget, you have been to a rocket launch. And yeah, if you were, I guess I was going to say if you were in Florida, but I think the other one is in Houston, in the United States, at least, assuming that's where you are. Yeah, they get real hot and it gets real sticky in Cape Canaveral. I don't know if that's the same with Texas. I've never been to Texas, but yeah, it can get really tedious waiting for it to go. And it doesn't really last that long. So it's really nice to be like in my parents' condo watching it. Oh, you're a discovery writer. A discovery writer is a pantser, yes. I used to be as well, and then I had to get more efficient, which is not calling the I don't know. I feel like when I say things like that, it sounds like I'm being shady toward pantsers. I'm not. I miss pantsing. Pantsing was fun, but I have to be getting these out faster, and I have to know exactly where I'm going with these now. And thankfully I did take to plotting well. Plotting, I feel like with plotting, I'm just kind of, I'm still writing the story when I'm plotting. It's just that I'm writing it before I write it. So yeah, pantsing is great. It's just like, I guess that extra step, like you have an extra step either with another round of editing, because like you said, your rereads and your revisions take longer. Um, and then for me, I've got the outlining stage. So it probably ends up taking the same amount of time at the end of it, but I needed it to be where when I write that first draft, it is ready and I don't have a whole lot of edits to do other than like cleaning stuff up. Like I don't really have any structural edits to do. Okay. So it is 10 of, and I am going to stop this ramble so we can get our next sprint in. We're going to go for another 15. So again, it's 10 after. So we are going to be, excuse me, 10 of. Sorry if I freaked everybody out by saying 10 after. It's 10 of. I haven't jumped 20 minutes ahead. So we are going to write for the next 15 minutes. So that is going to take us to 5 after. Good luck, everybody. All right, we're back. Good morning, Kat, and welcome. We are going to be taking a 10-minute break right now, and then we are going to go back to one last sprint at about 1:15. So if y'all want to go stretch or grab another coffee or what have you, please do that. Let's see. I just wrote, I wrote about 300 there. I'm writing some light paranormal romance, and a lot of it, there's a lot of comedy in it, and I rely on it being kind of ridiculous. So this scene I'm working on, they're traveling to they're in hell, and there are witches in hell, and there are covens that the witches live in, and they have been traveling from coven to coven trying to figure out where this letter came from, and who knows what it's supposed to say, because it's burnt and it's hopefully going to save the world. So that's like a basic thing of what's going on. But they just got to this new coven, and this is a small one where they've had some attacks, so they are hiding themselves as best as possible. So I came up with this really complicated method for actually entering the coven, and when they actually got into the coven, it's underground, and I was trying to decide what this would have looked like, but they're witches, so it's not like it's going to be some gross cave. And I decided that it was going to look like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. So the main character in this scene, he has a couple of kids. He's been trapped in hell for a long time, but he has these couple of kids, and they were young when he left them, but he would have been watching movies with them. So he's the one who, is looking around thinking that it looks very much like this chocolate factory he once saw. And so I go on to describe it, and it's like a jungle, and there's trees and vines and fruits and flower beds and great big toadstools on it. And because I do write comedy, there is a chocolate river going through it. Just because that's kind of how I do my comedy, is take things just a little bit too far. So obviously the comparison should have stopped at river, but I was like, no, it's a chocolate river. Oh my God, Nicole, did you write 220 words handwriting again? And did you tell me why you're handwriting? And I missed that. If you did say that, and I missed it, I am sorry. But if you did not say it, I am still curious. Pageant Farmer, you are amazing. Thank you for buying my books. I'm always really excited to have sales. Let me know what you think of it. Even if you didn't like it, I always want to know. And yeah, I agree. That like I do like to read fellow writers' stuff. But also I am a picky reader. So, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But unfortunately, it means that a lot of the people who I follow on AuthorTube, I'm not going to read their stuff just because I am so specific on what I read, and also because most of my reading time, not so much now, because I do actually have time now that I don't have a full-time job anymore, but so much of my reading time has traditionally had to be reading my market so I can write to my market. I just don't have the time to do it. And also another thing with that is I don't know about anybody else, but I feel like for marketing and for actually making this a career, it's not the sales that I want, it's the readers. I don't like the $2 I get off of selling a book is great, but it doesn't really mean anything to me. What means something to me is that I get that read through. I get people who are picking up more of my books. That's what makes this a career, and not, just selling a couple little things. So to that end, I will occasionally buy stuff from other writers that I know. And I will recommend it if if like it sounds like a really good idea, but it's hard. I don't want to read stuff that I don't think I'm gonna like. Let's see what everybody has said. Kat has coffee and notes, and you are ready to read, or excuse me, ready to write. I'm looking at whatever. I get that feeling. Do you know what the fuck you're doing? Absolutely not. I get it. That has been an issue with this book that I'm working on now, is that I have gotten used to outlining, to plotting. I'm now a plotter, and this one, the plot would not come to me. Thankfully, I was able to write through some of it, and it was enough. Like I wrote through the first 2 sections of it from like what little notes I had. And once I got through that, the rest of the story kind of opened up for me. I did mess up. The way I write is, while I'm working on other projects, I'm always thinking about the next project. And as little ideas come to me, I write them down however I need to. And then those are usually the skeletons that start the outline. And then I go from there. So the program that I'm using to write with has has levels. So like for scenes and chapters and whatnot, I've got this thing broken down into parts and scenes, because I don't figure out chapters until I've already written the entire thing. I don't figure out what chapter breaks is. So I have all of these parts that have notes in them. And then I was filling in the scenes. And for the last part that I just finished yesterday, I finished it all up. And then I looked at those old notes for that part. And it turned out that I missed a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I had really good ideas for what I wanted to be in this part, and I missed all of them. So I added some of them in, and like it really was stuff that like made the plot work better. So that was one issue with this, is that I just didn't use my brain and look at my old notes when I came up with the plot for that section, but that's okay. Let's see. Paget, I have like 8 million different writing programs on my computer. I have used Scrivener for many things, but I definitely have a love-hate relationship with Scrivener, because I don't like how their resource stuff is done. I don't like just being given blank spreadsheets for this stuff, for me to like do as I please with. I like to have a lot of different options. I just don't like to have a blank canvas. So for this story, I am using Y-Writer 7, which I love this program, but it's not pretty. And I understand where a lot of people don't like it because it's not pretty. It's not very flexible, but I like how the things are set up with, like, you've got different tabs for characters, locations, items. And like in those tabs, you do have like blank pages that you can write in, but then there's also some specific categories that you can fill in. So it has the flexibility that I want, but also a little bit of structure to it. And that's what I like. And then because they're specifically geared for being characters, locations, items, details, notes, I'm just reading the top of it. They're organized well so that they're easy to find, as opposed to just like you figure out the organization that you want. So that's Y-Writer. The project that I'm doing for NaNoWriMo, I am going to, Kat also endorses Y-Writer. I feel like it's really good when you've got a lot of stuff going on, that you need it to be just a little bit more organized. Like if you're doing any sort of a fantasy or anything like that. Again, it's just not pretty, and I understand that is important to people because you're staring at the screen forever. So I get it if that's a thing for you. Now, the project that I'm going to be doing in November, I am going to be using Wavemaker. And Wavemaker is interesting. It is pretty. it is an app, so it transfers very well between different devices, which is fantastic for me, because I do like to. We have a hot tub, and I like to write in the hot tub, so that's really convenient for me. It does have its issues, but it's very pretty, and it also has a whole bunch of different outlining features. Whether you're like a snowflake, or you just take notes, or you're a timeliner, like there's all kinds of different options for it. And for that project, I'm going to be writing. I'm not going to be writing 6 books at the same time, but I'm going to be writing 6 books that all take place at the same time. So I needed something where I could really outline all of them together and keep all of the notes, and also have that timeline to make sure that things are matching up for it. It's romance. It's alien romance. I'm the only one who's going to care about the specifics like that. My readers probably won't, but some of them do, and I appreciate them for it. Okay. I rambled a little bit longer than I meant to that time. But it is time for our next sprint. Did I? Yes, I did. Sorry, ignore me. Yes, that's right. The last one ended up 5 after. So, this is going to be our last sprint of the day. We are going to go for another 15 minutes. It is actually 17 after now, so we're going to go to 17, 27, 32. We're going to go to 32 after. And then I will have a little bit of a send off, and away we go. But if you guys decide to dip now and not go through this last sprint, I will be doing this again tomorrow at the same time, and then I will be doing it probably Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays hereafter. We'll see. But for now, you guys go ahead and write, and I will see y'all in 15 minutes. All right, we are back. That was our last sprint of the day. I got about 400 there, and I'm feeling pretty good. I got 1,365 for the morning, so that is a great start for me. It's 9:30 in the morning here, and I've already gotten 1,300. I'm already like 20% to my goal for the day, so I'm feeling pretty good that I'm going to get it. Cad, you said you have all the ideas for Nano, and somehow none of the ideas. I have been there so many times before. I get it. Especially with Nano. I don't know what it is. I've never been somebody. I know people who literally only write at Nano, and then they don't really do anything the rest of the year. They might like putz around on little tiny projects, but like they do that one big thing at Nano, and that's about it for the year. I've always, my entire life, written all year long. So Nano is like a weird thing to me because I'm absolutely like, I have to do Nano. I must do this. This is really important to me, and it is, but also it's literally just me doing exactly what I do for the rest of the year. It's just, this is the month where I must be drafting and not editing or other stuff, which I will be editing this year. I have to get this book out in time. But so I get that. I get the whole having the ideas, but none of the ideas, because I will hit this time of year sometimes and have like 8 million different things that I want to work on. Like I mentioned last year, I was going to work on my Shifter series, which I only just now have that book that I wanted to write then. I only just now have it drafted and it hasn't been published. So that poor series is just like dead in the water. That last book will come out eventually. But yeah, so, and then 4 days before Nano started, like, oh, I'm going to write something completely different that I haven't even thought about before. So yeah, and that's another thing. You said that you have so many ideas, that some are solid, some are not. Brain doesn't want to commit to any. I feel like brain always, for me, wants to do the least developed thing possible, or the most ridiculous thing. Like, let's write these 6 books that are all intertwined. Oh, Nicole got 228. Well done. You're off to a really good start today too. Yeah. So. I don't know. Nano does weird things to all of us. Even, if we've been doing it, I've done it for literally, I'm at 19 years now, I think. I started in 2002, so it will be my 19th year, right? Am I mathing that right? I know that seems like a really weird thing to math, but because it will be my 19th year. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's still right. I guess 18th year. Anyways, we're just going with this. I'm actually, the funny thing with that little thing is I've got a degree in physics, and here I am not being able to do basic math. I got myself real confused. Anyways, oh, Paget, this is your first Nano. That's fantastic. So I'm about to sign off here because I did promise you guys that we'd be done at 9:30. So I'll be signing off in a minute here, but I'll be talking about Nano a little bit more as this month goes on. Also, it looks like I am going to be hosting the stream on October 28th for actual Nano. Like, I'm going to be on the Nano official channel hosting a stream on October 28th. And once I get more details about that, I'll certainly let you guys know. I have no idea how it goes for them because normally it's 2 people and it looks like I'm by myself. And I mean, you guys see me by myself for this, when I can just talk to you. I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, we'll do more information then. And I will definitely, we'll be talking a bit more about it as we get further in the month. I love Nano, and it is great for getting yourselves more efficient at writing. It took a long time, but oh my God, it's made my technique so much better. It's the reason that I can publish 6 books a year, but like, they're decent. Like, they're not like crap. Yeah, so I'm going to sign off now, but we'll definitely be talking more about Nano as we get closer to it. And I'll be here tomorrow. So again, if you guys want to join me here again tomorrow, we'll be doing this again. Tomorrow we'll also be working with Natalia after our show is done. So we're going to be doing like a straight 8 a.m. to noon tomorrow, just over 2 channels. But yeah, you guys, good luck today, and I'll hopefully see you guys tomorrow.